we are moving towards sentence, understanding sentence. So three things we are talking about. Number one, a sentence has to have one complete idea, number one. Number two, there should be actor, subject present in that sentence. Number three, predicate. Now, these three things, what we call actually a sentence. Complete idea, subject as actor, and predicate as action. These three things. So a sentence is equal to these three things. Let's try to understand what subject is. Well, subject can be, of course, as you know, it can be a noun or it can be a pronoun. In my last lecture, if you remember, we talked about the pattern, SVO. I'm referring to it, again and again because I have to tie up things. So subject comes at first. It can be in the form of noun or it can be in the form of pronoun. But functionally speaking, a subject can be in the form of 6 different types. Subject is not just a noun or pronoun only, that Imran is a teacher or he is a teacher. There can be 6, types of subject. Or some people say it this way, that there are 6 ways of opening a sentence. Look here, when we say that noun is a subject or pronoun is a subject, what actually we're talking about? We are talking about the opening of a sentence, because opening is what subject is. Subject comes first, and that's what actually our opening is. So some, linguists say that, well, there are 6 ways of opening our sentence. What are those 6 ways? What are those 6 types of subject? Let's discuss it one by one. Well, 2, of course, Number 1, subject is what? Subject is noun. Subject is pronoun. Let me count it for you first, then I'll explain you in detail. Number 3, subject can be in the form of infinitive. Number 4, subject can be in the form of gerund. Number 5, subject can be in the form of compound. Call it compound subject. Or it can be in the form of noun clause. Now, let's take the idea of, typing and typist and all. If I say, Ali is a typist. Now, Ali is a typist. Ali is a noun. Subject is noun. He is a typist. Now, he is a subject. He is pronoun. Now, third one, which I said, infinitive sentence, to type letters is his job. No, to type is infinitive, actually. This is not noun. This is not pronoun. So to type actually is infinitive. So infinitive, you're starting your sentence from infinitive to type. Infinitive means actually 2 plus verb. That is infinitive. Fourth one, typing correctly or typing fast is his skill. Now I'm starting now my sentence not from noun pronoun. Rather, I'm starting my sentence from gerund. Now, what is gerund actually? Gerund is verb plus ing taken as a noun. Like smoke, to smoke is a verb. I add ing with it, becomes smoking. So, verb plus ing taken as a noun. That is called gerund. So, typing, I'm not saying type, I'm saying typing. Typing, let's say fast or typing correctly, is his job. So, typing, now the subject is in the form of gerund, ing verb. I said compound, subject. Ali and Saira work together in the same office. So Ali and Saira. Now my subject is, composed of what? 2, nouns. So that is compound actually. Compound means 2 together, compound. Or it can be in the form of, pronoun compound actually. Like, he and she, work in the same office. So he and she is compound pronoun, subject. So subject can be in the form of, compound also. Subject is in the form of noun clause. What? Whatever typing Ali has finished is lying on the table. No, take a look. Whatever typing Ali has finished is on the table. In this sentence, starting from whatever typing Ali has finished, this is your subject. We call it noun clause. And is your verb. Lying on the table is another, is lying is your verb. On the table, then prepositional stuff. Whatever typing he has finished is subject. Is your verb, and then the remaining part. So whatever typing he has finished is a noun clause. So you see, 6 ways of starting your sentence, or take it this way, 6 different types of subject. Noun, pronoun, infinitive, gerund, compound, noun clause. And don't you think that when you use these 6 types of, subjects, what actually, aim actually you are meeting, the very fundamental aim in writing, that have variety there. So when you are, using different types of subjects, when every time your starting of your sentence is different from the previous, not every time you start your sentence with the same noun, or pronoun, rather you bring in variety, sometimes noun, sometimes pronoun, infinitive, gerund, compound, noun clause. Variety goes up. People say, oh yeah, he's not boring. He's got a lot of variety, in his structures. Now, this is, I hope you understand. Now, second important part of our sentence is what? Predicate. What is predicate? Predicate means verb. I often, tell my students that, well, sentence is what? Sentence contains 2 important things: actor and action. Actor is subject, action is verb, action is predicate. So predicate actually is action. Right. So predicate, action, I said. Now, what we have seen in parts of, while doing parts of speech, that there are some verbs which are complete in nature, and there are some verbs which are incomplete. They need little more, they need more words actually to convey full meanings. In case of incomplete meanings, then in predicate, we need object. Just to give you an example. Let me, put it simply, that predicate consists of either verb or verb plus verb completing elements. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, that predicate is composed of either verb. Now, when I say verb, it means which verb? The one which is complete in meanings. Second, possibility is verb and verb completing elements. So which one is the second verb? That is the one which is incomplete in meanings. So that will be needing, verb completing elements. So as a whole, we can say that predicate is the name of 2 things. Number 1, verb. Number 2, verb completing elements. Now, let's see what this verb of a sentence is. Verb can be of 2 forms, like either it's a stative verb, which is not talking about action of your, actor. It's only talking about, the state, his condition. And the second one is action, verb, which is actually, talking about the very action of your sentence. So what we have seen is that predicate is verb and verb completing elements. And then this verb is of 2 types. Number 1, the one which talks about only the condition of your actor. And the second one, which talks about action of your actor. Actor, I mean actually subject. Let's see what are verb completing elements. Well, of course, one very commonly known verb completing element is object. When I say I like him, then him is of course the object. So that is verb completing element. It can be, so I said it can be object, or it can be a complement also, which we call subject complement. It can also be object complement, and it can also be, you know, what we call as indirect object. So there are actually four types of verb completing elements to, revise for you once again: object, complement, object complement, and indirect object. So this is what the whole equation is actually, the sentence equation. So if you put all these together in a queue, then you would see that number one is subject, number two is your verb. Doesn't matter it's action or condition. And number three is, verb completing element. Well, it could be, object, or it could be, complement. There may be a question in your mind that, okay, we understand subject is there and verb is there, could be condition, could be action, but we are confused when it will be object and when it will be complement. That's a good question, actually. Well, very simply, no confusion at all. If there is action verb, object. If there is condition verb, subject complement. Do you understand? I said action verb, object. See the definition of object. Object is, where or on which we perform that action. Is it clear? So action, verb, object, and condition verb, complement. For example, when I say I'm a teacher, am is a condition verb, and teacher is what? Teacher is, subject complement, which is again talking about I. So I am a teacher. Am is our condition verb. A teacher is our subject complement, talking again about I. Whereas if I say I am teaching English, for example, so I is my, subject, am teaching is my action verb, English. So this is how, we make this difference. Now, what are, object complement? Object complement is part of object. Subject, verb, object. Object complement is a part of object. Any additional idea which you want to tie up with object, you can by adding one more, word to it. For example, if I say, let's say I painted my room, and I'm telling my friends, look, I painted my room. They may ask me, what color? I may say, apple green. So why not I put my sentence this way? I painted my room. Look, I is subject, painted is verb, my room is object, okay? I can, at the same time, add one more word to it, color. Like, I painted my room apple green. Or it would be otherwise, I painted my room, which color? Apple green. That would be a whole conversation. I mean, to rather convey in more compact nature, I can say, I painted my room apple green. So this apple green is a part of your object. We call it object complement. And then I mentioned one more type of, verb completing elements. We call it indirect objects. If I say, fetch a glass of water, this is an imperative thing. Fetch a glass of water. You fetched me, and now I can rephrase my sentence this way: that she fetched a glass of water for me. This is how usually we make the sentence. She fetched a glass of water for me. If I, reconstruct my sentence by removing for me and bringing me after my verb like this way, she fetched a glass of water for me. Change it into, she fetched me a glass of water. Now, of course, she didn't fetch me actually. She fetched a glass of water, but it was for me. For me, I kicked out. Me, I put after the verb. She fetched me a glass of water. So this is me is an indirect object, and indirect object always comes between verb and direct object. Analyze this once again. It may be confusing. Analyze it again. She, subject, fetched, verb. A glass of water, object. For whom she brought? For me. Now, bring this me and put it after verb. She fetched me a glass of water. So me is between verb and your object. So this becomes indirect object. Sometimes, the situation can be funny. I mean, if I say, my mom fried, let's say, chopsy for my friends. And if I bring my friends inside the fry and the chopsy thing, the situation would be funny. But of course, grammatically and structure-wise, sentence would be correct. Like, my mom fried my friends chopsy. Now, my mom fried my friends. I mean, here the comic thing is in here. My mom fried chopsy. Actually, not my friends, but the sentence goes this way: my mom fried my friends chopsy. So my friend actually is an indirect object which comes between verb and the main object. So this is what actually the analysis of the sentence skeleton is. To revise for you, recapitulate for you, sentence will be what? Three things: complete idea, subject, and predicate. And subject, you have seen 6 different types of subject. And then predicate. Predicate is a name of verb and verb completing elements. And we have seen verbs can be of 2 types, just to understand: action verb or condition verb. And this verb completing elements, they can be in the form of object, when verb is action, or complement, when verb is condition, and 2 more: object complement and indirect object. Object complement is very much part of our object, and indirect object actually is to avoid prepositional stuff, bringing the second object inside verb and the main object. This is how we frame it. And from here, I'll take you towards our 5 basic clause patterns. Indirectly, we have studied and learned them, but I just need to, recount for you. If you remember, in the rank scale, I said clauses, the difference in clause. We start from alphabet, we move towards words. From words, we go to phrases. From phrases, we go to clauses. And then from clauses onwards to sentence. Clause means, that one subject, okay, and one predicate. I mean to say one subject and one verb, full stop. This is what clause is, the minimum qualification, one subject and one verb. I mean to say the minimum thing, minimum, the minimal factor, I mean to say. Whereas sentence can be that one subject, one verb, and one more subject and one more verb, and one more subject and one more verb. What I'm trying to say is a sentence can consist of either one clause or more than one clauses. So this actually I mean to say. Clause is always like one subject, one. So let's talk about 5 basic, clauses which I discussed with you. And I'll name them by, what we call the abbreviations, like S for subject, V for verb, O for object, C for, complement, and object complement O and C, and indirect object as I for indirect, object for O, and direct object, D for direct, and O for object. So there are 5 clauses actually now from this study. I mean, and this is also kind of, summarizing what actually I have discussed with you. 5 basic clause patterns. Number 1, S plus V. Now you understand S plus V means subject plus verb. See? Only verb, no verb completing element. Now you understand this verb is the one which is complete in meanings. It doesn't need any more words as completing elements to come and convey. It is in itself complete. For example, the children laughed. The children subject laughed. Laugh is a verb which is complete in meanings. The children laughed. Take one more example. Our noses grow. Now, grow is a word which is complete in meaning. It doesn't need any more word to convey or communicate full meaning. It's already in full. It's intransitive. It doesn't need more. So our noses grow or the children laughed. This is S plus V. Second pattern is what? S plus V plus C. S for subject, V for verb, C for complement. Now you know that this V is actually, see, how we would know that what is this V, action or condition? Very simple thing. Next is C. C is a complement. It means this is a condition verb. Subject, condition verb, and complement. That he is a doctor. I'm a teacher. You are a student. So subject is there, and then is or am or are, is there. This is, your condition verb, and doctor, student, teacher. This is what? This is your what? This is complement. In this sentence, there is no action. When I say I'm a teacher, there is no action. You're a student, there is no action. He is a doctor, there is no action. Condition. Subject plus verb in condition form, and of course complement. This is our second, basic clause pattern. The third one is S plus V plus O. Here, S is your subject, V is your verb, O is your object. Now, if I ask you this question, this V is condition verb or action verb? Yeah, you're right. This is action verb. How do you know? Of course, there is object. I mean, I told you before, action has to go somewhere. I mean, if I hit this chair, now my action is towards this chair. This chair is the object. I hit this chair. The chair is the object. So action has to go on to object. So this is, your action verb. Subject is there, verb is there, action, hit, and the chair is there. That is your object. Let's move to our fourth basic clause pattern, which is S plus V plus O plus OC. What? Subject, verb, object, and object complement. I've told you before what is object complement. It is an additional word which you tag up with the actual object. Let me give you a sentence. Ali calls his mother a saint. Now, Ali calls his mother, Ali subject, call is verb, his mother object, a saint. Ali calls his mother saint. Ali calls his mother saint. The saint is object complement. Otherwise, your sentence could have been this way. Ali calls his mother. What he calls his mother? Saint. So just to cut short things, to say rather in more compact form, Ali calls his mother saint. This is our fourth basic clause pattern. Let's go down to the fifth one, which is what? S plus V plus IO plus DO. It's the same thing, Subject first, verb second, and then comes indirect object and direct object. Actual is the direct object, but indirect object, it was out somewhere with preposition. We deleted preposition, bring that object part inside and made this construction: subject, verb, indirect object, and direct object. And the example the same I gave you, that she fetched me a glass of water. This me actually is not my direct object, because the fetch first is linked with a glass of water and then is linked with me. So for example, I gifted my child a doll. So I gifted, not my child is the actual object. I gifted doll actually to my child. So just kicking two out, bringing child after the verb and before object. I gifted my child a doll. So these are our 5 basic clause patterns. I mean, when I was saying that Urdu and English, patterns are different. English is SVO and Urdu is SOV. In English, these are 5 clause patterns, 5 basic clause patterns. We also call them kernel. I mean, no matter how long your sentence is, let's say consisting of 100 words or 200 or 300 words, doesn't matter. We simply have to see what's the pattern of the sentence. And pattern will be one out of these 5. I mean, take any sentence. I ask you, find me the pattern of the sentence. It should be one out of these 5. English has 5 these basic clause patterns. And you might be wondering that how writers, write non-stop and go to, 100 and 200 word length. Very simple thing. They keep combining these patterns, with the help of what? With the help of same conjunctions and, other tools. And the sentence keeps on expanding. From simple, it goes to compound and then complex and multiple compound complex and sentence goes up. But don't forget here that I'm not asking you or, telling you that, go for longer and longer. No. Of course, you got to stick to that point, which while talking about important, qualities of good writing, and there we talked about the sentence length and other important features of sentence, that average sentence length has to be 17 to 20 words. If your words reach 40, for example, masters say, cut it into 2. Why? Because you're not writing, of course, for yourself. You're writing for your readers. And they have some, limited, understanding, about the patterns, and we have to go by, So these 5 patterns, and then when we expand, how we expand, of course, we combine these, 5 patterns, and, or we modify, these 5 patterns. I'm saying we combine these patterns or we modify these patterns. What does it mean? Combining, again, same thing, writing about, the types of sentences, combining these as compound, combining these as complex, combining these as compound complex. And what is modifying? This will be the second part after basic clause pattern. Modifying means, modifying subject of your pattern, modifying verb of your pattern, modifying object of your pattern. So what you're doing actually, you are adding more words to these patterns and your sentence starts, expanding. Before I, go any further and start, discussing with you these the modification of these, patterns, I would like to show you the same patterns once again, so that you could see in visual form also that what are these 5 patterns which I gave you, and there are a few examples. Okay, now on your screen you can see I've written the same abbreviation, S plus V. It's example. The children played. The children is S, played is verb. Second example, S plus V plus C. You are beautiful. You as subject. V, this is verb, condition verb. And beautiful. Beautiful is, subject complement. Sentence number 3, S plus V plus O. Muhammad Ali Jinnah inspired everyone. Now, Muhammad Ali Jinnah is your subject. Inspired is verb. And everyone is object. So here the verb was actually action verb. So therefore, everyone we have as object. Fourth pattern, S plus V plus IO plus DO. Like Ali gave his friend a ruby ring. Ali subject and gave is verb. His friend is indirect object. And ruby ring is what? Direct object. Gave is firstly linked with a ruby ring and then with his friend. So Ali gave a ruby ring actually. So how we, constructed, Ali gave, indirect object comes between verb and direct object. Ali gave his friend a ruby ring. And the last pattern you see, S plus V plus O plus OC. Ali called his mom saint. Now S is Ali, subject, called is verb, O is his mom, and OC as, part of object, we call object complement, saint. Okay, now I have one more exercise for you, and let me tell you how you should do it. I'll, of course, show you on your screen 9 sentences. Now, underline, the words and try to label those as S, V, O, or C, OC, IO, and DO. I mean, the same abbreviations which we used actually for our basic laws patterns. Supposing I gave you a sentence, Ali calls, his mom saint. So underline Ali and write S. Call, underline and write V. His mom, write O. Saint, write OC. So this is how you should do this exercise. Now, you can see on your screen, we painted the town red. As an example, I do it for you. I'll underline V, and on it, I'll write S. S goes for subject. I'll underline painted, and I'll write verb. I'll put colon and write action verb, because this painted is an action verb. The town I'll underline, and I'll write object. If it's an action verb, of course, comes next object. And then I'll underline red and say, well, this is, OC, object complement. This is how, I want you to do this exercise. So my pattern of the sentence will be S, V, O, O, C. So this is how, you'll discover the pattern of all these 9 sentences. The second sentence for you is, we passed the boy collection basket. Third sentence, we passed collection basket. Next, Adam appears interested in the project. And fifth one, Hassan is a math teacher. Sixth one, his motive was mysterious. Seventh one, I bought the suit. 8, the woman in the row coughed. And ninth one, Caroline gave Stephen a choice. With this, I call it a day, and take care of yourself and each other. Khuda Hafiz.